All right, you guys. I'm live. I am live, live, live. I don't know how good I sound. I have no idea. I hope I sound okay. Hold on. There you go. There you go. Got my American Eagle on the side of me. Freedom intensifying right now. All right. I'm back. It's your girl, Basic Black Becky, back with you guys once again with a no strings attached podcast, recording, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. But I'm here to talk about something that is very important, something that we all need to think about, and something that needs some really deep self reflection right now in the direction. Because now we're seeing the direction that this country is headed. We really need to take some serious deep reflection of what we can do in order to correct where we are. So let me share with you guys my screen and we can get started. Okay, and there I am. And I already know what I look like. So I'm gonna move myself up a little bit because I want you guys to pay attention to these words down here I'm gonna be talking about a little bit later. But before I get started, I'm going to give my disclaimer. Let me. The views and opinions expressed in this video are mine and mine alone. My views and opinions are not representative of any party, group, or faction. It is my First Amendment right to express my dumbass opinions. And that's all it is, my opinions. So if you do not like what I'm going to say, you can stop this video right now or stop it at any time. Thank you. Enjoy the show. So I'm not going to talk about the 25,000 troops that are in Washington, D.C. right now. I'm not going to talk about how these troops were just vetted by the CIA to make sure that the troops are Biden loyalists. But if you're not paying attention to that and you're just overlooking that happening right now, if you're just overlooking that, then you must be one of those people that actually believe that 75 plus million people voted for Joe Biden. On the contrary, that's a huge red flag. The 75 plus million people did not vote for Joe Biden. Because now the Democrats are talking about protecting DC with the deployment of troops and keeping you, the American people, out of Washington, DC. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about something else because there's a lot of disinformation, misinformation, whatever you want to call it, a lot of stuff out in the ethernets right now. But I'm going to talk about ways that we can use checks and balances that are written in our federal and state constitutions in order to turn the course of this country to be more free, prosperous, and protected. Okay? Because a lot of people are saying, what can I do? I want to get involved in politics, but I don't want to run for office. But there are people that do want to be involved in politics, but they don't know where to begin. Well, the first thing you can do, you can begin at the local level of your government. That's where you can start. And one of those places at your local level of government is in your children's schools. Did you all know that public school teachers are required to take the oath of office? Before a teacher can teach your children or before an administrator can administer the duties of a school administrator, they are required by law to take an oath of office. I did not know that. And I had done my research and I had found that that is the case. They are required to take a solemn oath to uphold, protect, and defend the United States Constitution, and specifically for Michigan, the Michigan State Constitution. I don't know what it's like in other states, but it would do you good to read your state's constitution and to find out if your teachers are supposed to do that as well in your state. But here in Michigan, they're required to do so. So if you want to get involved locally in politics, start going to your children's school board meetings. Start going to PTA meetings. Start finding out who the people who head up your school board is. All right. Find out the name of your school district's superintendent. Okay. We need to find out if these people are for America, or if they work, or if they're agents of the Communist Chinese Party. Chinese Communist Party, however you want to say it. I don't know. Everything's just everywhere right now. And our country is in flux right now. And a lot of people don't know if they're coming or if they're going. But anyway, it'll do you good to find out if they're pro-American or not. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. So, MCL, if you're in Michigan, share this video, share, like, subscribe, share this video. If you know people who are Democrats and liberals and they're starting to question whether Biden is their legitimate president or not, share this video because this is important. What I'm going to say is kind of important for them to hear too, because they're the ones who benefit the most from their kids going to public school. So, okay. So in Michigan, it is MCL 388.401. Okay. And it's an act to require all teachers, instructors, and professors in educational institutions, specifically public educational institutions, junior colleges, universities, to take and subscribe an oath or affirmation to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Michigan. So let's move on down. The people of the state of Michigan enact Section 1. From and after September 1st, 1935, it shall be unlawful for any citizen of the United States to serve as a teacher, instructor, or professor in any state educational institution or any educational institution supported in whole or in part by public funds. See, we need to start having this uncomfortable conversation with our child's teacher and asking them, have you affirmed your oath to protect, uphold, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the state of Michigan? Because if you didn't, it's unlawful for you to teach my child here in the United States. It's unlawful for you to do so. It's unlawful for an administrator to administer discipline to your child, okay? Or to administer any processes that has to do with operating the school, okay? Now, any public school from primary all the way to college, if they receive any part of public funding from federal, state, or local government, they have to take this oath. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Michigan or your state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my position according to the best of my ability. They're supposed to take that oath. They're required to. Now, if they're hired to be a teacher or administrator in a school, they're supposed to sign a document stating that they took the oath. That is to be notarized, transmitted, and filed with the superintendent of that school, and of that school district is to be filed. And the best part, that file is to be subjected to public inspection. So parents, you are allowed under Michigan law to inspect the personnel files of your child's teacher or any administrator in their school. See, this is where we can hold them accountable. This is where we can hold government officials, we can start holding them accountable in our children's schools. See, a lot of us are saying we can't reach the people up in Washington. That's apparent. January 6th, we went to make our voices known, and they did not hear us. They were like, we're ignoring y'all. We don't care what y'all got to say. Well, guess what? We already know that they don't care in Washington to hear our voices. But the people here at the local level in your children's school, well, they're always wanting parents to give their input, right? They're always wanting parents to show up for parent-teacher conference, right? They're always want parents to show up at school board meetings. So that's what we should start doing. Show up. Start asking a question. Start asking this very question. Have you taken the oath of office to uphold the United States Constitution and the Constitution of Michigan? I'm just wondering. Schools and the administrators of schools and the school board, they want us to get involved, so let's get involved. Let's get it popping up in them school board meetings and start holding these people accountable. Because a lot of us do not like the kind of values that our children are being taught in these schools. And our children, they may be children now, and it may not matter now because they're children, but it's going to matter when they become adults. And they're holding jobs and they're owning property. Maybe they won't. If Joe Biden continues, if Joe Biden is president, I'm not believing, I'm believing for President Trump. I'm believing President Trump to be in 4 more years until he stands up and says, you know what, I'm done. I've conceded, I'm done. Until he says that, I'm still believing for him to hold another 4 years. But if he doesn't, your children will be lucky to own property. Your children will be lucky to have a job. But they're going to be the ones, you know, working and making policies and things like that. So you can ignore it and say, well, they're just children, no big deal. But one day they're going to grow up and they're going to be in positions of authority over you. And you do not want your children being taught this Chinese communist ideology while they have authority over you and subjecting you to godlessness, subjecting you to authoritarianism. You don't want that. So don't dismiss this as, well, they're just kids. It's no big deal. It's just a couple D's and F's, no big deal. It's more than just D's and F's. It's more than just, you know, changing a curriculum. It's about holding these people accountable so our children are not deceived by godless ideology. But if you're a parent that doesn't mind their children taking hormone blockers and doesn't mind your children saying that there isn't a God, if you're that kind of a parent, then this does not apply to you. This applies to parents who love God, love country, the rule of law, and we love prosperity, and we love freedom of speech. That applies to us. If you're not one of those people, just disregard what I say. Stop the video right now and go, you know, go do what godless people do. So anyway, so isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? You get to be involved in politics at the local level, at the very, very low level, which is in our children's schools. Now, the act also goes to say that it is unlawful for an officer or a person on a school board having control of employment, dismissal, or suspension of teachers or instructors. It's unlawful for them to hold those positions if they have not taken the oath of office. We got to know if these people are pro-American. We got to know. And I'm including myself, that I've been sitting on ass and not doing what I ought to be doing. But let me tell you something. I'm telling you, I need to start going to those board meetings. I need to start rearranging my work schedule so I can be there at that next school board meeting. What sacrifices are you going to make? I know what sacrifices I have to make. You have to decide what sacrifices are you going to make. What kind of pains and what kind of things you need to resettle or you need to rearrange in your priorities in order to be there and to make sure that these people are holding on to pro-American values. If you have to miss a day or two of work in order to make sure that happens, well, you have to decide in yourself if your child's freedom, if their freedom and their prosperity and their protection is worth it. My son is worth it. My children and my patriot children, who I've not met yet because I'm part of not just this family, but I'm part of a huge patriot family here. And some of them haven't had children yet, so I'm excited to hear some of my patriot family members to, growing their families. Those children that have not come from their loins yet are worth it. You hear me? Children that are in the mind of God right now that are not born yet are worth me giving up a little bit of creature comfort in order for them to be born in a free nation. They're worth it. They're worth it. Me missing out on a little bit of pay and not getting getting them big gold hoop earrings is worth missing out on, because I'd rather see children being children and children and that children are happy and that they're free and that they grow up to be well-adjusted adults, able to partake in mature dialogue and conversations and having healthy disagreements. I'd rather miss out on having my hair and my nails did, and rather see these little guys, these children, my son growing up to having healthy debates, healthy dialogue with people they disagree with. And to do so without fear of revenge or retribution of losing their job or losing out on a great college education or experience. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all. See, this is part of my ministry, is that when I come across information like this, I want to share it with people. If you love this nation and you want to see the condition of this nation turning around to back to where it was, right? You want to be able to have the ability to raise questions without being called a terrorist. See, people like me asking questions and saying, hey, that's not right. I disagree with that. We're being dubbed as an American. We're being dubbed as being unpatriotic. We're being dubbed as terrorists. How dare you question the official narrative? How dare you question the president-elect's, election results? How dare you? You ought to have your brain lobotomized, and you ought to be in a, concentration camp. That's what they're calling for. I'm not going to mince words here. That's what a lot of these leftists are calling for. They're calling for Trump supporters and anybody who questions the 2020 election results of whether Joseph Biden won the presidency. They're saying that people who question that ought to go to a concentration camp and ought to be re-educated into our likeness of history. That's what they want. I don't want that. If you want that, continue to sit on ass. Continue to feel comfortable. Because whoever, it doesn't matter whoever ends up in as the president. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Joseph Biden or Donald J. Trump. It doesn't matter who's president. What matters is that we get involved in our government at the very base local level, and it is right here at your local school district. It's right here at your local neighborhood school. Don't just go to the PTA meetings and just talk about your kids' grades, their behavior, and what's next on the curriculum, you know, during the second semester. Start asking some questions. Start asking some real hard questions like, hey, did you take the oath of office? Did you know that you're a government official and that you're accountable to we the people? Did you know that? Because I'm sure there's a lot of teachers and a lot of administrators and a lot of school board members who do not think that they have to take, who do not know they have to take an oath. They know that they're accountable to the parents, but they just don't know at what level they are really accountable to the parents. So I just wanted to share that. And last thing I wanted to share before I go is, what are the penalties of these people for not doing their sworn duty to we the people? Well, one of the penalties is that if they violate the terms of this act and continue in such unlawful employment, if they continue to hire people as teachers, administrators, janitors, whatever their role is in that school or in the school board, whatever, if they continue to hire unlawfully, then their support, it says here in section A, that their support in state funding ought to be revoked. And in section B, it also states that their tax exemption should also be revoked as well. So the penalties of them defying and breaking the law, the supreme law of the land, which is the Constitution, is that they should have their state funds taken away, and they should have their tax exemption as a public institution taken away, right? This is very, very interesting times that we're living in. And like I said before, I would encourage everybody to do a deep, deep analysis of, you know, where you are right now. What are your gifts that you can bring in the fight for liberty? You know, we really need to do we just really need to start saying, what can I do? Like, seriously. And I'm sharing with you right now, this is what you can do. You don't have to go all the way to Washington to have your voice heard. You can go right to your child's school, right into his classroom, and you can let your voice be heard right there. Right there. If you don't want to go to a school board meeting right now, start small. Go to your child's teacher. Start right there. Plant the seed. And then once that seed has been planted, who knows? Maybe that teacher will go to other teachers and plant the seed. Maybe you can talk to other teachers and plant the seed. And then go from there. So that's how reformation in our government can start. I'm going to start doing that by doing all that I need to do within my power to making sure that our teachers who are in a official government capacity to be held accountable to teaching pro-American, pro-constitutional, pro-God curriculum to our children so that they can be well-adjusted, healthy adults. That's all I gotta say about that. Guys, take a look at it for yourself if you want to. Here's the act once again. Here it is. It's called Oath of Teachers. Like I said, I encourage you all to look at your state constitutions. I'm just gonna say this and I'll be done after that. It's gonna be boring. It's gonna be painstaking work. I'm not gonna lie. I read a lot of legislation. Let me tell you, it's boring. And unfortunately, the socialists have done such a great job making sure that reading is abhorrent to a lot of Americans, that a lot of Americans don't want to read unless it's on social media or on a meme. They've done a great work by making reading documents like this abhorrent to a lot of people. And if you're one of those people that are like, I don't like to read, I just, I just have a short attention span. If you're one of those people with a short attention span, then find somebody who do like to read and loves reading documents like this. Someone you can trust. I'm not saying me, somebody in your inner circle. I'm not in y'all's inner circle. Find somebody you can trust who can read this information, disseminate it correctly, and can come back to you and say, hey, this is what I read, and this is what this means. That's what we need right about now. I think it's better for you to do it for yourself, but if you're just not one of those people that are just not a big fan of reading, well, you need to find someone you absolutely would trust with important and sensitive information like this in order for you to be able to make a difference in your home, your community, and in your country. That's all I gotta say. Stay strong, you guys. Keep up the fight. Whoever becomes president, we gotta keep going. We gotta keep moving. We gotta keep plowing forward. We got to keep going. And you see, we're not like liberals and Democrats in 2016. Okay? We got the news that Joseph Biden is going to be our president. What are we doing? We're not out here crying. We're not out here burning stuff. Well, some of us crying. I know I was crying for a little bit. I cried for a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, I cried. I was really sad, but I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's president. Because whoever is going to be president, the teachers in our kids' schools and the administrators and the school board members aren't going to change unless we vote them out. So, but we're not burning cars. They block the people from going to DC, so we can't go and protest. But we're not destroying stores. We're not out burning cars. We're not out hurting people. We're out here doing the work, putting boots on the ground, building coalitions with each other, online and offline, to turn this thing around. So don't give up. You are doing God's work. If you have not figured out where you belong in this fight, pray to the Lord. Where do I belong? Lord, what gifts, talents, abilities do I have in order to bring glory to you, number one, but then number two, so that I can live and my children and my grandchildren can live in a free nation, the nation that you have formed for your name's sake. What can I do in order to help you to bring in the ecclesia? Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. That's what it's about, is that God formed this nation so that he could call out his called out ones who do not know. We don't know who they are. We don't know how they're going to be called out, but that's why he made the United States of America. That we can go, not just in this nation, but all around the world, giving people the gospel of his only begotten son, who gave his life so that we can be his children, and that we, through the blood of Christ, we are given the titles of kings and priests unto our God. That's all I gotta say about that. So anyway, you guys have a great day. Take care. Peace.